Hello, magic makers, and welcome back to the Metaphysical Apothecary. We are your hosts, Shannon and Megan.
Hi, everyone.
Also known as the Scorpio Sisters, here to explore the mysterious, the magical, and the arcane. Every time you hug a tree, it does something for your heart.
It helps regulate the rhythm of your heart to the rhythm of the earth.
Yes, exactly. And it helps heal your aura. When you're getting a spiritual sunburn, all of your ethereal bodies are being burnt, including your aura, which may not be a part of your ethereal body, but it's surrounding you as well. If you're sitting underneath a tree, leaning back against it, underneath its shade, following the rhythms of the earth, the wind, the grass, and the critters that might be around you, depending on where the tree is located, you're actually healing your aura. And if you take it a step further and hug the tree, you're actually getting more healing energy that is going to heal your aura, and it's going to align your heart, like Megan said, to the rhythms of the earth. In a way, you're connecting to the mycelium network that all trees are connected to, that all plant life is connected to. And because we don't necessarily have physical roots to connect to the mycelium network, you can either do it as a grounding technique, sitting underneath a tree and envisioning a root growing down from your tailbone into the earth and then connecting to the mycelium network that way. Or you can do it from heart-centric, where you hug the tree and allow the trees to connect you to that mycelium network, which will connect you to all trees and all plants.
You can allow that energy to flow into you. You can receive it. You don't have to do anything to receive it. All you have to do is just breathe deep, even breaths and hold on to your tree. Allow it to flow into you. That's all you have to do.
Another aspect of healing that the trees provide for spiritual sunburn is that they photosynthesize sunlight. If you're standing under a tree, whether you're hugging it or you're just meditating with your back against it, sitting underneath it, you're allowing the tree to absorb the harsher light from the sun, photosynthesize it so that way it can actually be productive, and getting and receiving the very productive and gentler aspects of solar magic while you're healing from your spiritual sunburn. Their very existence, not only will they connect you to other beings in the ecosystem and around the globe because of the mycelium network plus the ecosystem that they are or are in, they also are going to provide you with photosynthesized energy and magic that they have absorbed and created for themselves and have no problem sharing because they make an abundance of it for themselves and tend to pass that along through the mycelium network.
While you're allowing your subtle bodies, your aura, your mind and spirit to heal from this magical sunburn that you may have incurred from using too much solar magic, it's also a good idea to engage in these kinds of magical restorative exercises. So the tree one, primo, college was big on hugging trees. You can get away with doing pretty much anything you want as a college student, and people will be like, you know what, that's valid. I like you.
Yeah, and there were times during freshman year we were using solar magic without even realizing it, and we would have to go and sit underneath Aunt and eat our cheesy garlic bread.
Yep, we would sit underneath our favorite tree named Aunt. Yeah.
We were able to have that restorative session of healing our aura, healing our mind, healing our hearts and our emotions and the stress of the situation, as well as dealing with any solar magic sunburn, spiritual sunburn that we had incurred during the day.
Yeah, you use so much projective energy as a college student, and I'm sure it's gotten even more stressful. Let yourself have that restorative time, especially if you are on a timetable that's jam-packed with all kinds of stuff. Another way that you can do this, if you have access to a swimming pool or the ocean, just go have a soak. Float in the water if you can.
You don't have access to either of those two water sources, a foot bath?
Yep, Epsom salt, regular salt.
Soaking your feet helps a whole lot.
Yes, your feet are the things that connect you to the earth, that they carry you around, and they receive and project energy efficiently. Soaking your feet also helps draw the toxins out of your body.
You could also eat certain watery fruits and vegetables, whether it's a watermelon or the spinach and kale. Water content is pretty high.
Yep.
Pumpkin. There are certain foods that have high water content within them that will help soothe and heal the spiritual sunburn from the inside of your body and then resonating out.
Mm-hmm. You can absolutely ingest a lot of those foods that have water energy to them, but also, for goodness sake, maybe treat yourself. If part of your projective solar energy has been clean eating, strict clean eating, have a piece of cake. Let yourself have a little joy.
Definitely. Things that you might have been trying to avoid or restrict yourself from having, you might need to have a break day.
Yeah. Overuse of solar energy and projective energy, that's what it's about. Restriction. It's about being very strict with yourself, restricting your ability and what you will allow yourself to interact with and what you will allow yourself to feel.
Yeah. You can take that beyond the magical aspect of it. It's also very much a society of solar energy projection. Society says this is beautiful, and if you don't fit those standards, you need to restrict your diet. You need to have very disciplined exercise routines. You need to wear this type of clothing. You need to project this type of energy in order to be considered a boss. There's a lot of layers to dark solar magic and energy, and that includes how our society has functioned up until recently.
It seems like that would be the biggest reason why someone might be burning themselves out on the projective toxic high vibe magics. It's because of the huge global societal shadow that we have looming over us, that these characteristics make you valid, these characteristics make you successful, these characteristics mean you have a good life. Allowing that to be defined by society in general and trying so hard to, like you were saying, project that identity, project that perception of ourselves out into the world, that we completely deny who we are as individual human beings.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to reconnecting with nature or getting into the other elements, you could go ahead and look at the quirkier parts of your wardrobe, your interests, your hobbies, and your magic in general. What about your magic are you super interested in that has been brushed off and poo-pooed by some of the others that you've interacted with in magical circles? Have you been super interested in the magical abilities and the mythology surrounding frogs?
Mm-hmm.
And people have been like, why the hell are you interested in that? So it's something that you developed shame around and then hid. Well, you know what? Frogs are cool. And they have a lot of mythology and a lot of lore surrounding them magically. That could be a really interesting way to bring your personal individuality to reconnect with your own personal inner self and your individuality.
Yeah, true individuality, not the toxic, I have to stand alone.
Right, where your interests and your style and how you sort of live your life is dictated by you, but you also allow in connection.
Humans are social creatures. There needs to be some kind of social interaction, even if it's with a rock, even if it's with the tree. You're still interacting, and it's essential human instinct.
Absolutely.
Another piece of spiritual sunburn and burnout is creating fear-based egregores.
Mm-hmm.
Egregore is a human-created entity based off of your emotions and the story you tell about it.
And basically the story is told so often that it takes on form and consciousness. A really fun version of this is the flying spaghetti monster that the Pastafarians venerate. The flying spaghetti monster is an egregore, but we can also do this very, very easily with things that we are afraid of or don't want.
And that's sometimes what people are dealing with certain hauntings. They've created a story around a creaky floorboard, and they've created an egregore out of it.
Right. That creaky floorboard didn't start out being the result of a haunting, but it's one now.
Yes. And egregores are entities that don't really die. As long as the story is told, it will keep on going.
Right.
And it's really very difficult to kill a story. A lot of times fear-based egregores are based off of those shadows that are pushed to the side because of the blinding sunlight or the blinding spotlight. You can't make out their shapes. You can't see their faces. And fear of the unknown, even as you're staring at it, can distort your perception.
Think about when you're super anxious and trying to fall asleep at night. Every little sound like something's coming to get you. The sweater hanging on the doorknob of your closet is going to look like a malevolent entity crawling across the floor to get you. These are things that have happened to me. I have anxiety disorder. I've walked through my apartment in the middle of the night to get a glass of water to try and calm down and just freaked myself out. And we do the same thing spiritually by creating these egregores that feed on that energy that we project into them.
Because that's all we're providing them.
Yep.
Megan had mentioned this earlier before we started recording. Stage fright. Being on stage with all of those spotlights on you, the audience becomes this blind spot because they're all in shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what they're doing. Yes, you hear them clapping or you hear them cheering. For me anyway, there was always still that little part of me that was, well, what if they're only doing that because it's polite?
Yeah.
It's not impossible for something like that to manifest into an egregore from stage fright. And then the story you start telling is one that doesn't allow you to express yourself in front of large crowds of people, whether you're on stage or not.
Mm-hmm.
You can continuously tell yourself that story, continuously be spiritually sunburned and dazzled and have this fear-based egregore from the shadows until you can get it in your head that all you need to do in order to flip that switch is tell a different story. Yep. It doesn't have to be completely different, but change or add certain elements to it so that way the egregore is no longer just feeding on your fear of the shadows.
Yeah, we need to diversify our diets. And if you diversify your egregore's diet, it could actually become beneficial to you. It could become a companion, just like the flying spaghetti monster earlier. He's a cool guy.
Yep.
He's powerful because we've made him powerful, but he doesn't wish anyone any malevolence or ill will.
Nope. He's a flying spaghetti monster.
He wants to feed the world.
He wants to feed the world carbs.
So that's all we have on our topic for today. Thank you so much for listening in, and we hope you'll join us again soon. In the meantime, you can follow us for more witchy wisdom, both here and on our blog, and you can also check out our original art on Society 6 for sacred decor and more. Thanks again for joining us. Go make some magic and live your best life.
Bye!